Ikea might be coming to a city. Yes, a city near you. Hi there, everyone. It's time for another Plain English. I'm Jeff. JR is the producer, and Plain English is where we help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. By listening to stories from around the world, you'll improve your English vocabulary and hopefully start thinking in English. Today's story is all about the Swedish furniture maker Ikea. If you've been to an Ikea store, congratulations. You probably dedicated the majority of a day to go. But now Ikea is experimenting with a new kind of store, a store that can fit in a city center. In the second half of today's episode, I'll show you how to use the English phrasal verb pick out, and I think we are ready. Let's get going. When you think of Ikea, you probably think of a few things: affordable furniture, flat pack design, self-assembly, hard to understand self-assembly instructions, and you probably think of the company's iconic stores. The massive blue and yellow stores are in over 60 countries, and they're on every continent. But although they're in a lot of countries, their stores are not always easy to get to. They're usually on the outskirts of a metro area. That makes sense because each store is about 30,000 square meters. The nearest Ikea to you might be far away. Ikea stores are usually only in the biggest metro areas, and every metro area might only have one or two Ikea stores. There are almost 10 million people in the Chicago region and 2 Ikea stores. There are 9 stores to serve all of California's 40 million people. For that reason, going to Ikea is an excursion. Customers don't typically stop by Ikea on their way home from doing something else. People get in the car. Some people rent cars, and they might drive 30 minutes, an hour, or several hours to the nearest Ikea. They don't go often, but when they do invest the time, they buy a lot of things at once. They might even eat at Ikea's Swedish restaurant. This arrangement carries several advantages for Ikea. The real estate on the outskirts of the metro area is cheaper and easier to manage than closer in locations. There's always enough parking. Now, to justify the customer's time investment to get to the store, Ikea made its store layouts like an adventure. Rather than browsing aisles for one or two items, customers follow a snaking path through the whole store so that a single visit turns into a long walk through bedrooms, kitchens, bathrooms, closets, and living areas, all filled with Ikea's products. A typical store carries over 9,000 items, and you can bet each customer sees a lot of them. And those items are in stock in the store because the store doubles as a warehouse. Since there are only a few stores in a region, and the real estate is cheap, there's no need for an off-site warehouse. In fact, half the fun for customers is picking out an item in the store and then chasing it down or waiting for it in the warehouse. Since many items are flat packed, customers can take several pieces home with them in just one trip. On-site hourly truck rental makes it even easier. But there's one big downside to that store format. A customer that just wants a coffee table or some decorations might not want to drive all the way to an Ikea, park in an ocean-sized parking lot, and walk through the whole store just to buy one small item. And that's all not to mention the city dwellers who don't have access to a car or who don't want to invest a lot of time to go to one store. So now Ikea is experimenting with a new store format, the city center store. You can find these in Paris, Copenhagen, San Francisco, London, and Stockholm. And Ikea says that after years of trial and error, it's ready to roll out the city format to other urban environments. Here's how a city store is different. First, it's smaller. It's either in a popular shopping mall or on a main street. It carries only about 2,600 products, less than a third of a large format store. You might not find the largest pieces there, but you still can find coffee tables, roll-up mattresses, bookshelves, and other apartment-sized items. Second, while city stores have some inventory on site, they also serve as showrooms for online orders. Someone coming home from work might not be able to toss a couch on the back of a bicycle, but that person can browse the couch and select the fabric in the store and then order it for home delivery. Here's another way the city store is different. It has different people. The company says a lot of city store customers are new to Ikea. Perhaps they never felt comfortable ordering online without seeing something in person, and perhaps they never had the ability to go to a large format store. But they can pop into a city store without a big time commitment. Ikea found that city locations did good business by themselves, but in metro areas with a city location, both online orders and orders at traditional stores increased. So now, after years of experimenting in Paris, Stockholm, and other city centers, Ikea is ready to roll out the city format to other cities. And for all of you without a car or without an entire day to spare, you might be able to enjoy the Ikea experience soon. I lived in Chicago for 15 years. I probably went to Ikea 3 times, and I had a car. It's just every time I thought I might want to go, I thought about driving all the way out to Schaumburg, like 45 minutes away, parking, walking through the entire store. It's just exhausting. And I don't like shopping as an activity. When I go shopping, it's not to have fun. It's to buy a specific thing. So if there had been an Ikea in the city, I would have gone more often. So I think this is a good idea to appeal to more people like me. Pick out means to select something when you have a large variety to choose from. The key here is not all possible options are exactly the same. So pick out means to select one item from a large variety where not all choices are the same. Imagine a relative's birthday is coming up, so you need to buy a gift. You might go to the mall and pick out a gift. That means you select something to buy. You have a lot of choices. There are many things in the mall you might buy as a gift. You make one selection. You pick something out for your relative. Now imagine it's time to go to the party. People are going to dress up. So you open your closet and stare in at the wide variety of clothes that you own. Now it's time to pick out an outfit. It's the same situation. You will choose one thing from a large selection. It's easy for me to pick out an outfit because the selection really isn't that large or interesting. But it's a lot harder for JR to pick out an outfit. He has a wider variety of clothes than I do. He has more designs, more styles, more colors in his closet. So when he picks out, he has more fabrics, more accessories. So it's harder for JR to pick out an outfit because he has more to choose from. Whether it's me with my, shall we say, basic wardrobe, or JR with his more complicated one, we can say pick out an outfit since we are choosing an outfit from a selection of clothes. Here's one thing I have learned in my time here in Mexico. Mexicans take their avocados seriously. In the market near my house, there are huge mounds of avocados for sale, and the shoppers pick out the avocados that they want. They pick them up, they look at them, they squeeze them, they turn them around, and then out of the 200 or so available avocados, the shoppers pick out the 2 or 3 they want. Now you, if you're not an avocado expert, you might think they're all the same. You would be mistaken. There are the avocados that are ready to eat today. There are the ones that were better yesterday. Those are good for salsas. Some avocados will be ripe tomorrow, others later this week. So when you pick out 2 or 3 avocados to buy, you're selecting the ones that you want from a wide variety because not every one is right for you. Like picking out a gift, you can pick something out in a store. Let's say you need a bookshelf, so you go to Ikea. If you pick out a bookshelf, you're selecting one model from the 5, 6, 10, whatever models they have in Ikea. Pick out is the selection of the model because there are multiple different models available. If there are 10 white Billy model bookshelves, and you select 1 out of 10 identical pieces, that's not pick out. But when you look at all the models, they have the Billy model, they have the, I can't even pronounce this, Hems model, the Gersby model. These are all different. If you pick out a bookcase, you select the model. The Billy model, let's say, you've picked out a bookcase when you've selected the model. The exact one you put in your cart, that's something different. Well, that's all we have for you today. If you liked today's episode about Ikea, about business, and if you have a few more minutes this week, then you can go to plainenglish.com/lessons and pick out another lesson from our archives. And that's easy to do because they are arranged in categories. So you can filter for business episodes and then pick out an older episode to listen to. There's a lot of English you can learn that way. Look in the archives, plainenglish.com/lessons, and pick out a lesson to listen to over the weekend while you wait for Monday's episode to come out. See you then.